Hello folks, Scott here with my 10 cards, 1 kit video featuring the Love From Lizi December 2019 Simple Pleasures card kit. A springtime array of pattern papers and stickers and ephemera and embellishments. I think we are past the holidays now. As usual, I do take the included 5 sheets of cardstock in our kit and make card bases out of them. I do swap a plain piece of my white cardstock for the super smooth, alcohol-friendly cardstock Lizi provides us. Let's dig right in. So my first card this month is on the ivory card base, and we've got Replenish. I love that little oval. That was an ephemera piece in our embellishment bag. It's highlighted, of course, with that lovely rose gold foil. And it matches that pattern paper from our pattern paper pack. I die cut that pattern paper with a Lawn Fawn stitched rectangle die and glued that right down to the ivory card base, and then mounted our oval on the center with some thick foam squares. Now I do have some EK Tools 3D dots that are in 2 thicknesses. These are 1/8 inch thick and these are 1/16 inch thick. So these are my thin foam dots. These are my thick foam dots if I want a little extra dimension. So that's what I used behind this ephemera oval on the front of this card, and then I put a little frame around the whole thing using the Love From Lizi rose gold pinstripe peel-offs. These came in our October 2019 card kit. Perfect match, plenty of shine there. Of course, a Replenish card didn't say a lot to me, so I borrowed a sentiment from another part of this kit and added it to the inside. So we've got Replenish on the front and Take Time to Make Your Soul Happy on the inside. Great sentiment. I think that's probably my favorite sentiment in this entire card kit. Take time to make your soul happy. I think that is reason enough to replenish. I love that watercolor pattern paper too. Replenish. Now, I'm usually not a huge fan of ephemera pieces, and you know I'm not a big fan of butterflies, but we had some really nice butterflies in this kit, and I couldn't help myself. On a yellow card base, we've got some old-fashioned things like fresh air and sunshine are hard to beat. That's a Laura Ingalls Wilder quote. I love that quote. And what better way to evoke some nature and sunshine than putting this gigantic butterfly ephemera piece on the front of this card. I swear that butterfly is big enough to be real. I really like that. So this is one of the ephemera pieces. I matted that ephemera piece on some of that dark green that was on the back side of our cut apart sheet. A little thin mat for that. Glued that to my yellow card base. Put a frame on that with the peel-offs from the kit. Those are the grass green and gold peel-offs from the kit. And then I glued this little butterfly ephemera piece on the front of our card. Just glued the body down, folded the wings up a little. Big, huge ephemera piece. A lovely butterfly. I've got 3 of the dirty bronze Nouveau drops there, just to add a little bit of shine and dimension. I think I like that whole old-fashioned theme on this card. Butterflies, who'd have thunk? Okay, so we got these 2 great sentiment dies in our kit this month, so I was dying to start playing with one of those. So on our green card base, we've got a big thanks eclipse card with that big thanks die. I really like that. And that big thanks reads so very, very well. I really like that. Again, I took some of that dark green pattern paper that was on the back side of our cut apart sheet, and I stamped the thank you and you are sweet stamps and one of the flower buds all over that pattern paper using peeled paint distress oxide ink. It's very subtle, but you can actually see it quite well. That became my pattern paper that I then die cut the big thanks from the center of that pattern paper. And then I glued that to a piece of the light green pattern paper for a little mat, glued those down to my green card base, and then added my little partial frames on the top left and bottom right using those green and gold peel-offs from the kit. Then I cut 4 layers of that die from white cardstock, glued those all together, then put the die cut pattern paper on the top of that, glued that back into its space left in the middle of this card. A big thanks, eclipse card. I think this is very masculine. Big thanks. Now, I don't know if it was just the plethora of ephemera pieces and cut-aparts and stickers and everything in this kit, but I was really drawn to them this month. My next card on a white card base, we've got Be Still. That's another one of those really groovy oval ephemera pieces. I really like those so much. I took a 2-inch piece of that brown and yellow pattern paper, cut that, added 2 strips of that half dandelion pattern paper to the top and bottom, glued those both down to a white card base. I did do a little ink blending on the top and bottom of this card base using fossilized amber distress oxide ink. I mounted our oval again with my thick foam squares, and then added these 2 flower stickers with the thin foam squares. So there's a little bit of difference in the dimension there. These matched perfectly, went right with the flowers on that oval, and then of course I added 3 of those really groovy wooden dots, those wooden dot embellishments, perfect for this. Of course, again, I thought Be Still was a little lonely all by itself, so I added a sentiment inside. We've got Be Still. The quieter you become, the more you can hear. I really like that. Of course, I'm using my Silhouette software, and this is just the Geneva font to print this up on my little inside writing surface here. The quieter you become, the more you can hear. That seems all too obvious, but I think we certainly need to be reminded of that, especially these days. Love those wooden embellishment dots. Be Still, again, a very masculine card. Now, our first pattern paper was a cut-apart sheet in smaller size, and it had some of that great gold foiling on it. So that's what I went to for this next card. On the burgundy card base, we've got This Is Our Happy Place with all of that rose gold shine. I really like this. There's a larger one of these, This Is Our Happy Place, but it doesn't have the gold foiling on it. So I picked the smaller one. I just trimmed that out from that cut apart pattern paper, and then I matted that on our rose gold polka dot pattern paper, and then matted that again on just a plain piece of white cardstock. I glued those together, glued those down to my burgundy card base, and these again are stickers from the sticker sheet. I got rid of their sticky and added them to the front of this card using my thin foam tape. This is our happy place. This is a great anniversary card. This is a great intimate Valentine card. I think I'm in my happy place. This is our happy place. Nothing on the inside, just a writing surface. Really, I think this is about as pink as I got this month. I didn't set out to avoid all of the pink, but I kind of ended up skipping over a lot of it. But hey, you got a butterfly out of me, so don't expect a lot of pink. Now, though spring-like in theme, these colors are kind of muted and a little subtle, and I was kind of itching for something bright and poppy along about now. And we had that other die cut from our kit that said, Hello Sunshine. I thought that was the perfect opportunity to make a bright, sunshiny card. So on a white card base, we've got Hello Sunshine, and inside Your Future's Bright. I really like this. Now, I started this card by tracing this Hello Sunshine die on a piece of masking paper and then just fussy cutting that out. And then I put it on this piece of white cardstock that I had cut down with a Lawn Fawn stitched rectangle die, stuck that right in the middle, and then did my ink blending on top of that. These are all the Hero Hues reactive inks in Fruit Punch, Creamsicle, and Lemon Drop. So I did all of my ink blending, and then I grabbed my Concord and Ninth Sunshine Turnabout stamp, and I used that to stamp these rays. Just a couple of them. I didn't want to fill up the whole card. These are stamped with Versamark ink and embossed with white embossing powder. And then for a last touch, before I took that mask off, I sprayed the whole front of this with that sheer shimmer spritz. And then I peeled off the mask, and that gave us that lovely white shadow around that whole sentiment. Then I glued my ink blended piece to a piece of that green pattern paper, again from the back of our cardstock, glued that down to my white card base. Then I attacked this die. I cut that once from a piece of that dark green pattern paper, and then cut it 3 times from some plain white cardstock. I inlaid the hello back in its space here, glued everything on top of each other, made that sunshine complete that whole S there, so there was no holes there. I actually took a white gel pen and drew the center of that O in. I thought that was really kind of necessary. I really like that die. I really like that sentiment. Of course, this is an old stamp set of mine, and this had the Your Future's Bright stamp on it. I decided I couldn't resist using it. I then added a lot of clear and silver gems from my stash all over this card to add to some of the sparkle. Hello Sunshine. There's actually a silver gem for the tittle on the eye. Nice and bright and poppy and very springy. That card made me very happy. Hello Sunshine. Now I had one pun that I wanted to use, just a little pun, fairly straightforward. On the other burgundy card base we've got I'm rooting for you with that lovely ephemera piece plant on the side there. This, of course, is that pattern paper with the rose gold foiled hexagons on it. I cut a 2-inch piece of that, matted that on a 2.5-inch piece of that red pattern paper, glued those down to the middle of my burgundy cardstock, added a couple more of those rose gold peel-offs from October to the top and bottom of that. Then I added my plant, my ephemera plant, using my thick foam squares. I printed up that little sentiment on a scrapped piece of cardstock. This is the Rockwell italic font. I'm rooting for you. I printed that using my Silhouette software, added that to our card front with the thin foam squares, added a bunch of our sequins, and one more little clear gem to bring a little attention to that sentiment. I don't think anything else needs to be said. I'm rooting for you. Just a writing surface on the inside. A lot of those ephemera pieces are just terrific, and I really love this sentiment. Now that sentiment I used on the inside of this Replenish card was also a sticker on our sticker sheet. Great big text sticker. I was dying to use that. I also thought that sentiment matched the pattern paper that had all of the rose gold foiled sentiments. So on a green card base we've got, take time to make your soul happy. And there is some great shine on that. I fiddled around with this for quite a while. I tried putting some flowers on it. I tried putting some hearts on it. I tried putting some plants on it. I tried putting a butterfly on it. I really wanted to be able to read as much of this background paper as possible. Get away, drift, dream, replenish, rest up, rest easy, be kind, be happy, be still, drift, replenish. I wanted to see all those words. So I went the simple route here. I actually took one of my stitched circle dies and I cut a piece of 40-pound vellum paper, and then I stuck the sticker to the middle of that vellum and then added those to this card front using my thin foam squares. I, of course, cut out this pattern paper with a lawn fawn stitched rectangle die, glued that down to my green card base, and then I outlined the entire piece with that green and gold peel-offs from our kit. Plenty of shine, a really nice card. I love that sentiment. That's got to be my favorite sentiment in this entire kit. I think we all need to take that to heart. Okay, I do try to use all of the stamps in a stamp set. There were so many sentiments in this stamp set, I just didn't even try to use all of the sentiments, especially when we had such great sentiments in our ephemeras and stickers and sheets. I did experiment with some watercoloring of those flowers. There's a little no-line watercoloring I started down here. A little piece. I wasn't happy with any of those. It's interesting with these stamps that have all of those lines on the center. I ultimately thought it would probably be best to emboss those. So for my next card, this is on an ivory card base. We've got our good luck card with a lovely arrangement of all of those flowers in the bottom left corner here. These are embossed with the Love From Lizi Copper Rose embossing powder. The Love From Lizi Copper Rose embossing powder. It matches everything just beautifully. I think all of that rose gold goes well together on this. This is a piece of that red pattern paper. I cut that down with a smaller lawn fawn stitched rectangle die. And then I stamped and masked all of these flowers in the bottom left corner here using Versamark ink and, of course, that Copper Rose embossing powder. This is one of our ephemera pieces. Again, I kept going back and back to that. I stamped and embossed the good luck sentiment on that ephemera piece. I fussy cut a little mat for that and embossed that mat with some of that Copper Rose embossing powder, glued those both together. I matted our red background piece with a thin white mat, then glued those down to my ivory card base. I then mounted my good luck sentiment on the front of that with my thick foam squares, and then again another partial frame with those rose gold peel-offs from October. I love how all of this goes together. I really love how it catches the light like that, and I really like how it still reads even when it's dark. A very subtle, very classy, good luck card, and dare I say, rather masculine. Good luck. Oh my goodness, I don't think I've ever made so many landscape cards all in one kit. Oh my goodness. Now, one of my favorite embellishments in this pack was that sheet of those really cool wooden dots. Those are like enamel dots, but wood. So for my last card here, we've got a yellow card base, and we've got a thank you card with wood dot flowers. I love those. I think they are so groovy. Now, I fussy cut this little notebook paper out of one of the cut-aparts, and then I distressed the edges with a little bit of vintage photo distress oxide ink. Then I colored one of each size of our wood dots with a alcohol marker. I think that was TN3. Colored one and then circled that center with the same size dots all the way around the outside. Made 3 different size flowers on the front of this notebook paper. Now, believe it or not, I actually took that doily die, and you can see the cutouts in the center of that are the perfect leaf shape. So I cut our doily die from some of that dark green pattern paper still and used those for the leaves. So those are all die cuts from that doily die that make the leaves here. I die cut a piece of this floral pattern paper with a lawn fawn stitched rectangle die, glued that directly to our yellow card base. I did make another little partial frame around the top left and bottom right. That's using the nice big green and gold peel-off strips from our kit. I, of course, stamped the thank you on that notebook paper just using VersaFine Onyx Black ink. Then I curled up the edge of our notebook paper and attached this whole piece to the front of the card using my thin foam squares. And for a final touch, I added a whole bunch of those dirty bronze Nouveau drops. I think I just like saying dirty bronze. I really like those quite a lot. I forgot to mention on this last card, I was really tickled by that itty bitty tiny Nouveau drop I was able to get over that good. I didn't think I could get a Nouveau drop to go that small, but I did. I really like those dirty bronze Nouveau drops. This is my thank you card. Nothing on the inside. A really nice thank you. A really fun way to use those wood dot embellishments. Thank you. So that's my 10 cards I made with the Love from Lizi December 2019 Simple Pleasures card kit. I, of course, have tons of supplies left over. I have this much left of our cut-apart sheet. This was that dark green that I was using throughout all of these cards. This is where I cut out that notebook paper. So I've got a little bit less than half. I've got a good amount of pattern paper left, although I did use quite a bit of pattern paper, but alas, I kind of skipped a lot of the pink pattern papers. I did use a number of stickers, not a ton of them, but I think quite a few considering. I used a good amount of our peel-offs. I did use all of our flower stamps and a couple of the sentiments in this stamp set. I did a pretty good job on our embellishment bag, although I didn't get to the burlap flowers. I didn't get to those lovely die-cut heart wood veneer pieces. Those are gorgeous. Those will go in my stash. I didn't get to the rose buttons or the little bitty keys. I spent so much time with those wood dots and the Nouveau drops, I just forgot about everything else. Look, I used a lot of those wood dots there. I also used a great many pieces of those ephemera. We had 40 pieces of ephemera, I think, in this kit, and I used quite a lot of them. All of this stuff will find loving homes in my stash. I had a good time putting these cards together. I hope I've managed to inspire you, or at least give you a little sprinkling of spring. I think the most challenging part of this kit for me was coming up with cards that I would actually use, that I can actually see a purpose for giving them to someone. Be still, good luck, thank you, hello sunshine, another thank you card, time to make your soul happy. These are really nice encouragement cards. I'm rooting for you. A great sentiment any time of the year. Now, this kit is still available at lovefromlizi.com. If I've managed to spark your interest or maybe inspire a couple of ideas, please use my link in the description down below when you go shopping at Love From Lizi. It is always greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me here. It means so much to me. I want to send you and your family my best wishes for a happy, healthy, and hearty holiday and a prosperous new year. I can't believe it's Christmas time already. Please remember to like me, list me, pin me, post me, share me with all of your friends. Don't talk with your mouth full. And as always, happy crafting. if you'd like more detailed information, better pictures, and product links, please visit my website at cardcutups.com.